This is not a test. So put your pencils down and simply listen. Words from the mouth of God is what you've been missing, so pay attention. Because if you miss it, the place you'll be sitting is far worse than detention. I'm here to announce that there's a monster who's been terrorizing Christians, turning victors into victims because they like the attention, turning preachers and teachers toward the principles of principalities in suspension, causing tension between sisters on the pews and in the benches. And did I mention that this dark beast is not out running amok in the streets? It's much closer, disturbing the peace in your homes because it's so overgrown that it can overshadow and overturn everything you have learned in this room if you let it. What is this monstrosity? I'll let you guess it. What has one big eye in the center but can only see itself? I'll ask again, what has one big eye in the center but can only see itself? This time, let me help. It's called pride. But I'm sure no one here has ever seen it. But the trouble is, you don't have to see it in order to feed it. See, it feeds on pretty narcissistic mirror images and Ivy League educations and high-paid vocations and friends in high places and promoting yourself like, ooh, look at me. Pretending to be the baddest on the market like Xbox 360 when really you're coming up short like Nintendo 63. But I forgot I'm talking to you and you never seen pride, so I'll explain the way that it attached itself to me. Imagine that my body was turned inside out like a sock puppet made of flesh, then dipped and double dipped in black goo, then turned back to being outside out, the right side out, the black side in and the bright side out. The shiny black lining of my body became a second nature and hide. The body's new, largest functioning organ is pride. It's so deceptive because it rested side by side with my good intentions. Neck and neck with my eagerness to serve, toe to toe with my desire to please God, it lies in silence, subtly sowing seeds of self-seeking into the seemingly selfless motives of my service. It saturated my soul, sinking my ship with short stints of satisfaction and smiling, which were subsequently proven unsustainable. It seeks to set me on a stool so super duper high that my, oh my, you all look like little ants from up here. And man, I've got no fear of falling because God is gonna catch me. When underneath that layer of false bravery, guilty thoughts arrest me because I know that my altitude has adjusted my attitude. Because I know that even though he is faithful to steady me in the turbulence, I'm deserving the crash. Because I'm so high that I'm grasping and gasping for air, but instead breathing in conceit. And Satan is funneling in lies through this pride till my ears are so full of deceit that I can only hear a faint, muted version of the truth. And the truth is that pride has attached itself to each of us in different forms at different times, be it an outright air of superiority when walking past a homeless man, or a ravenous, insatiable yearning for the approval and attention of others. See, literally bending over backwards is for gymnasts and circus performers. But figuratively, bending over backwards is for people pleasers, jumping through hoops with painted faces to win the applause of the masses who will inevitably leave stale popcorn and half-eaten pretzels on the floor of your heart before you pack up the show and depart. See, on the outside, it seems you're just doing your part, but let me ask you this. Does your light so shine before them that they turn and glorify him, or so that all eyes would be on you? Pride so thick between the layers like black goo. Asking myself once, twice, 3 times for certain, are you worshiping God or praising to impress the persons? Because Matthew 6:5 says that we should pray behind the curtain. And let's be real, you know your closet prayer life is hurting. Volunteering from a heart that genuinely loves to serve, but then having to strap on a backpack and run out of the event to avoid the thanks and the backpats for fear that hungry pride will eat the praise and drink the glory and the flesh will become 70 times, 7 times harder to kill. So for a millionth time, on my knees, I pray, Lord, please, oh God, take this pride away. That's the pride prayer on repeat 70 times, 7 times, to the pride prayer on repeat 70 times, 7 times, to the Lord, forgive me 70 times, 7 times more. So I'll ask you, where is humility? True humility that exalts God to his proper place, where are you? True humility that is unconcerned with the status of the makeup on her face or the status of her Facebook, but never forgets that his face and his book is the only place that she can look to find grace. Where are you? True humility that is not worried about how she is evaluated by peers or the material wealth that she may or may not accumulate over the years, but is nothing but ears to hear the highly revered words of the Savior, where are you? True humility that lives in a constant state of awareness that she has absolutely nothing that God has not given her except sin. And then I saw it. And as it turns out, humility is actually a hymn. The holy host of hosts, the Lamb of God, Jesus, the only man to ever set foot on this earth who had a right to boast, but instead chose to show us a perfect picture of humility. The holy host of hosts, let us offer up a glass of living water as a toast to the Most High, who chose to be born as the most low. See, he stepped off the throne and walked past the glory to pick up a crown of thorns in this story. And his story was made when he gave up angelic praise to be whipped, crucified, and beaten for me. Giving up gold and casting off authority to be born into pestilence, peasantry, and poverty. Oh, what an offering. See, when I fix my eyes on him, there's nothing that this world can offer me. He makes me strong so I can look at pride and say, homeboy, get off of me. He humbled himself to death, even down to donating his last breath so that we could be a Salvation Army with victory over every test, including this arrogant mess that we call the flesh. I don't want you to miss this. In all of Christ's magnificence, he chose to wash feet in humble service. And the fact that so many of us think we're too good for that makes me really nervous. Because God resists the proud, but he gives grace wherever humility is found. So my prayer for everyone under this microphone sound is that we would seek to please God more than ourselves and allow his humble wisdom to abound. Thank you.